Panel shows. If you haven't seen them, they're basically competitive games where the result doesn't actually matter. Sort of like charity football matches or football matches. About 10 years ago, I really liked panel shows, but a while ago they stopped making me laugh, and I think this kind of happened when I was about 17 or 18, sort of around the time I had to start pretending I was saving my virginity for someone special. So why have panel shows got worse? Well, here are 3 relatively undeveloped theories. In 2008, Jonathan Ross and Russell Brand left lewd messages on Andrew Sachs's answering machine. In terms of humiliating national treasures, this was a sort of 7 out of 10 in the system where you multiply the strength of the prank by the value of the national treasure, so essentially the same as going boo at David Attenborough or teabagging Trevor McDonald. The prank led to complaints, which led to increased scrutiny of how TV comedies treated people. In its wake, Boyle left Mock the Week, Amstel left Buzzcocks, and Mark Schwarzer left Middlesbrough, which he claims was unrelated. So now comedy is more socially conscious, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. When you watch decade-old panel shows, the sexism is about as persistent as a horny botfly.
Kiss it better. Go on, kiss it better.
Likewise, sexual violence is often framed as a cheeky historical crime.
Why are you wearing a cape if you're not a rapist?
Now a lot of that's gone, and that's good, but with it went more acceptable forms of malice, like teasing people who deserve it. You don't have to tone down being a twat to someone like Preston. He went to public school. Prince Philip could call him a prick, and that would still be punching laterally. Basically, some panel shows rely on cheekily subverting their seemingly formal premise. For instance, if you watch the very first episode of 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown, basically everything kills.
P.
The fact that they're playing Countdown but not taking it 100% seriously is really subversive and exciting, sort of in the same way if you go on University Challenge and display more than about 3 human traits, you become a viral sensation. But scroll forwards to 2016, it's Series 9 and it looks like Top Gear have taken over Cirque du Soleil. There's no illusion that the countdown element actually matters, so that premise can no longer be subverted. If you mix something serious with something silly, it's initially really funny. Take Tony Blair appearing in a Catherine Tate sketch in 2007, the audience lost their shit.
Am I bothered?
But imagine if he'd been in every episode. I mean, obviously that would have had geopolitical implications, which I can't really get into right now, but it also would have become rapidly unfunny. The audience would have found their shit and slowly started throwing it. For example, David Mitchell. In the early days, his persona wasn't posh really, it was just sort of anal and with good historical knowledge.
£2 a night for a proper holiday since 1840.
But then the posh bits of him were amplified when he was sat opposite Lee Mack and people started saying things like this.
I think he'd order some sort of Roman feast or a...
Now everyone treats him like he's an 8-year-old's idea of a mayor. Just because you know when the Boer War ended, it doesn't mean your loo has a drawbridge. So, those are my theories. Of course, just because panel shows have got worse, it doesn't mean I'd refuse the chance to be on one. And indeed, you could ask, when am I going to lose my panel show virginity? Oh, piss off, I'm waiting for the right person. Sorry, muscle memory.